If your thoughts are cluttered, your life becomes a prison. You can't walk freely when your own mind keeps dragging old chains. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." And he was right. Your life is the reflection of your mental diet. Feed your mind garbage, and you will live in decay. Feed it discipline, clarity, and courage, and your spirit becomes light, unstoppable, clean. Freedom is not about adding more achievements or possessions. It's about cutting away what weakens you, the fears, the noise, the need to impress. In this journey, we're going to burn away the excess. 26 things that quietly poison your strength. You'll recognize them, maybe even defend them. But if you dare to let them go, you'll rise like a new man. Ready? Then walk with me. The first poison lives where your pride hides. When someone disrespects you or betrays you, your first instinct is to explain. You want them to understand your side, to see your goodness, to feel your pain. But hear this truth. Explaining is begging. Every time you justify yourself to the unworthy, you hand them your power. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it." The more you defend yourself, the more they doubt you. But when you walk away in silence, you terrify them. Because nothing is more powerful than calm indifference. Your silence says, "I don't need your validation to exist." That is how a Stoic moves, not with noise, but with presence. So stop trying to convince anyone who betrayed you. Stop proving that you were right. You don't owe them a story. Let your success be the answer, your discipline the revenge, your distance the lesson. From this moment, promise yourself, you will no longer explain your worth. You will simply live it. You set certain goals years ago, and maybe they once made sense. Maybe they came from your parents, your teachers, or a younger version of you who didn't yet understand who you were. But now, they suffocate you. You keep chasing them out of habit, not passion. That's not ambition, that's slavery. Seneca warned. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. You waste years pursuing goals that no longer carry meaning, decorating a prison and calling it success. A Stoic does not chase blindly. He evaluates, cuts, and redirects. Your heart changes. Your purpose evolves. So why are you still running the same race? Let the dead goals die. The courage to quit what no longer fits you is rarer than the courage to start. Ask yourself, does this goal make me feel alive or heavy? If it weighs you down, bury it with honor and walk away. Your energy is sacred. Spend it on what truly calls you now, after pain, or betrayal, or heartbreak. The modern reflex is to broadcast it. You post, you vent, you tell everyone your story hoping to heal. But you don't heal by exposing your scars to the crowd. You heal by protecting them. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. That means rise above the noise. When you spill every detail of your suffering, you hand your power to spectators who do not care. They don't want your truth. They want entertainment. Every time you relive the past aloud, you carve the wound deeper. True strength is quiet. It processes in solitude. It transforms in silence. Let others talk. You stay still, heal privately, rebuild privately, and return not with stories, but with a new standard. The one who moves in silence after pain becomes untouchable. Because when the world no longer has access to your wounds, it no longer has power over you. When a weak man loses his temper, the world sees a child in an adult body. His anger roars, his hands tremble, his dignity dissolves. But when a strong man stands calm while chaos swirls around him, every eye turns toward him, not out of fear, but out of respect. Seneca wrote, "Anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it." Remember that the moment you erupt, you hand the keys of your control to others. You let them steer your mind. Calmness is not passivity, it's command. The Stoic warrior speaks slowly when others shout. He breathes when others break. His calm becomes his armor. So, the next time anger tempts you to explode, stop, observe, choose composure over chaos. In public, self-control is your crown. It announces to the world that you are not ruled by emotion, but guided by reason. And that kind of restraint is what separates leaders from followers, masters from men. Every time you talk about someone behind their back, you poison your own reputation. You might think you're bonding through secrets or venting frustration, but what you're really doing is showing the world you can't be trusted. People who gossip about others will one day gossip about you. The Stoics warned that the tongue is a blade. It can protect or destroy the one who wields it. Every careless word slices your integrity a little thinner. Choose silence over gossip, respect over ridicule. Let your speech become disciplined, clean, and intentional. The strong man has no need to whisper about others. He is too busy improving himself. Gossip is for those who have time to waste. You, on the other hand, have a life to master. Speak with purpose, speak with honor, or don't speak at all. Because when you control your words, you control your energy. And when you control your energy, you control your destiny. Comparison is the invisible poison that eats your joy in silence. You scroll through other people's achievements, looks, wealth, and suddenly your own life feels small. But you forget. You're comparing your behind the scenes to their highlight reel. Epictetus said, "When you are offended at any man's fault, turn to yourself and study your own failings." The same applies here. When you envy others, it's not them you should analyze. It's your own perception. You cannot walk forward while staring sideways. Every time you measure your progress against another person, you lose sight of your own path. Your story is unique. Your pace, your pain, your process. The Stoic warrior competes only with yesterday's self. He knows that real victory is internal. More patience, more control, more wisdom than before. So stop watching others. Look inward. Comparison wastes life. Progress builds it. Today, run your race, not theirs, and let your focus become your freedom. You fear silence because silence reveals truth. That's why you reach for your phone every minute. Open apps, drown in endless scrolling. You say you're relaxing, but really, you're escaping yourself. The Stoics sought solitude not to be alone, but to sharpen the mind. In quiet, they met their thoughts, dissected them, purified them. You, too, must learn this art. Every scroll, every notification is a tiny withdrawal from your attention account. And soon, you are bankrupt, unable to focus on anything deep or real. Digital noise is the new slavery. It steals your time disguised as pleasure. The wise man uses technology as a tool, not a leash. Reclaim your mental silence. Delete what distracts. Unfollow what drains. Turn off what controls. Spend time without input and watch clarity return. Stillness is where power is born. Only the man who can sit with silence can lead himself. Only the man who controls his attention can control his life. Most people live as prisoners of opinion. Every move they make is filtered through one question. Or what will they think of me? And that question is the enemy of freedom. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." You twist your soul trying to fit into molds that were never made for you. You bend your truth to gain applause from people who will forget you tomorrow. That's not living, that's performing. The Stoic path demands that you stop begging for validation. Your worth is not a public vote. The moment you stop chasing approval, you become dangerous, because no one can control you anymore. Speak less to please, act more from principle. You are not here to be liked. You are here to live with integrity. Let your conscience be your audience, your actions, your applause. True peace begins when the crowd's voice no longer directs your next step. Perfection is a polished lie. It whispers, "Wait until you're ready," and you obey, delaying your dreams until they die of starvation. You tell yourself the timing isn't right. The plan isn't flawless. The conditions aren't ideal. But listen carefully. Perfectionism is not excellence. It's fear wearing a mask, Seneca warned. While we wait for life, life passes. Every time you hesitate, you let another moment of power slip away. You don't need perfect. You need progress. The Stoic warrior acts, learns, adjusts, and advances again. He refines through motion, not by waiting for flawless conditions that will never exist. Every imperfect attempt builds strength. Every finished task builds momentum. The world doesn't reward those who wait. It rewards those who dare. So release the fantasy of perfection. Let your work be messy, human, alive. Because courage creates more miracles than perfection ever will. Start now, fail forward, and let your scars become proof that you tried. You suffer not because life is cruel, but because you demand that it be easy. You script the world in your mind. People should act a certain way. Plans should flow perfectly. Success should come quickly. And when reality refuses, you rage or collapse. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The Stoics understood a truth modern minds resist. Life will never bend to your expectations, but you can bend your attitude. Peace begins where entitlement ends. Stop trying to control the tide. Learn to sail with it. Every disappointment is a test of your adaptability. When something doesn't go your way, don't curse it. Adjust. Move. Grow. The man who accepts reality gains the power to shape it. The man who resists it becomes its slave. So free yourself from the fantasy of control. Trade your complaints for clarity and your frustration for focus. Acceptance isn't weakness, it's wisdom in motion. Every word you speak shapes your destiny. Most people waste their breath gossiping, complaining, or tearing others down, not realizing that every insult they throw returns like a boomerang. Seneca said, "Speech that harms others harms yourself." The Stoic understands that words are tools of virtue, not weapons of vanity. When you gossip, you feed your ego and starve your integrity. When you complain, you build walls of weakness around your mind. And when you criticize without wisdom, you expose your own insecurity. So before you speak, ask yourself, does this build or destroy? Does it bring truth or noise? Restraint is strength. The man who cannot control his tongue will never command his life. Silence sharpens you. It trains your mind to choose clarity over chaos. In a loud world, the quiet one becomes magnetic because calmness and control are rare. Speak with precision. Speak with kindness. And remember, your voice is either a sword or a seed. Use it wisely. The most dangerous word in your vocabulary is tomorrow. It disguises itself as comfort, but works as poison. You say you'll start when you feel ready, when conditions improve, when inspiration strikes, but readiness never arrives. Seneca warned, while we delay, life speeds by. Procrastination isn't laziness, it's fear wearing the robe of logic. You convince yourself that waiting is wise when in truth, it's surrender. Every time you postpone action, your courage dies a little. The Stoic acts now, not perfectly, but decisively, because time is the one resource that never renews. The task you delay today becomes the regret you carry tomorrow. Discipline is the cure. Wake up, begin, push through the resistance, and do it now. The pain of starting is temporary. The pain of avoidance is lifelong. No man ever built strength by waiting. You don't need more time, you need more truth. The truth is this: hesitation is the silent killer of potential. Act before comfort catches you. You plan every detail, chase every outcome, and panic when life refuses to obey. But control is an illusion. The Stoics taught that only two realms exist: what you can command and what you must accept. Everything else is torment. Epictetus said, "Some things are in our control, and some are not." Most of your suffering comes from confusing the two. You try to fix people who don't want growth, force timing that isn't right, or control opinions that were never yours to shape. And every time, life humbles you. The wise man doesn't fight the storm, he adjusts his sails. Control your focus, your actions, your discipline, then let the results unfold as they will. Freedom begins the moment you stop wrestling with what's beyond your reach. The river of life flows how it wants. Your job is to steer your vessel, not command the current. Master your effort, surrender the outcome, and you'll find the peace that control can never buy. You call it grind, but often it's just distraction in disguise. You fill your days with endless tasks, chase notifications, and brag about how busy you are. Yet deep down, it's avoidance. You're not being productive, you're running from stillness. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Busyness is the modern man's addiction, the illusion of importance without true impact. You move fast, but go nowhere. The Stoic doesn't measure his day by how much he does, but by how deeply he lives. He knows that motion without direction is chaos dressed as progress. Stop confusing exhaustion with achievement. Stop trying to impress others with your schedule. Simplify. Focus only on what moves your soul and strengthens your purpose. Busyness kills reflection, and reflection is where wisdom lives. So slow down. Act less but mean more. Because the man who's always too busy to think is too distracted to grow. You exhaust yourself trying to be agreeable, soft, and acceptable to everyone. But the price of universal approval is the death of authenticity. Marcus Aurelius said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. When you live for acceptance, you hand your peace to strangers. Some will like you, some will misunderstand you, some will despise you for no reason at all. That's life." The Stoic learns to stand firm in the storm of opinion. He doesn't bend for applause or shrink from criticism. He knows that truth divides, and that's how he knows he's alive. Stop diluting your message to make others comfortable. Speak your truth with clarity, not aggression. Be kind, but unbending. The goal is not to be liked, it's to be respected by your own conscience. The man who needs approval is a slave. The man who acts by principle is already free. You replay conversations, analyze outcomes, and exhaust yourself trying to predict every possibility. But overthinking isn't intelligence, it's fear pretending to be logic. The Stoics taught that the mind must be ruled like a kingdom. If you let every thought roam free, chaos becomes your ruler. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. You don't suffer from events themselves, but from your endless commentary about them." Overthinking keeps you in motion, but out of progress. You plan instead of act. You doubt instead of decide. You live in the future, forgetting that power exists only in the present. The cure is action, small, deliberate, fearless action. When the mind spirals, move your body, do the next right thing. Clarity follows motion. Silence the noise with discipline. Because every minute lost in rumination is a minute stolen from life. Control your thoughts, or they will control you. Modern comfort is a silent killer. Warm beds, endless entertainment, instant food, instant pleasure, yet deep inside, you feel weak, restless, hollow. Why? Because growth only happens through resistance. Muscles grow by tension. The mind strengthens through struggle. The spirit hardens through challenge. Seneca trained himself with cold baths and simple meals to remember that comfort is not the goal. Mastery is. You, too, must rewire your relationship with pain. When you feel resistance, don't escape it, lean into it. The Stoic doesn't fear difficulty. He welcomes it as the forge of character. Every obstacle you avoid multiplies your weakness. Every hardship you endure multiplies your power. Stop chasing comfort, start chasing capability. Sit with hunger, embrace cold, face rejection. Each time you endure what others flee, you rise a little higher above the crowd. Strength isn't found in ease. It's built in the fire you refuse to run from. Complaining is the language of the powerless. Every time you speak of how unfair life is, you reinforce your own weakness. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, you can endure anything your mind makes endurable. Complaining doesn't change reality, it chains you to it. The Stoic never wastes breath describing problems. He spends that energy solving them. Modern minds love to share frustration as if it earns sympathy or validation. But all it builds is a habit of helplessness. When you complain, you declare that life controls you. When you act, you reclaim control. Replace every complaint with a decision. What can I do? Learn or accept right now. Power begins the moment you stop narrating your pain and start responding to it. Complaining is easy. Creation is rare. Choose the rare path. Speak less of what hurts and more of how you'll rise. The man who silences his complaints becomes unstoppable because nothing external can silence his will. You waste enormous energy trying to fix people who refuse to fix themselves. You absorb their chaos, carry their moods, and drown in their storms, all in the name of caring. But compassion without boundaries becomes self-destruction. Epictetus warned, if you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Translation, stop participating in other people's emotional theater. Their reactions are not your responsibility. Their noise is not your burden. A Stoic helps where he can, but never at the expense of his inner calm. You cannot heal others by bleeding yourself dry. Learn to stand beside the suffering without absorbing it. Let their anger, gossip, and confusion crash like waves. You remain the rock. Detachment is not coldness, it's wisdom. It's knowing the difference between empathy and enslavement. Preserve your peace like a fortress. Because when you stop reacting to every storm, you finally learn how to master your own weather. The ego is clever. It hides behind compliments and achievements. You win something. People applaud, and suddenly you start performing for applause instead of purpose. Marcus Aurelius warned himself, soon you will have forgotten all things. Soon all things will have forgotten you. Praise is temporary, meaning is eternal. The moment you depend on validation, you lose direction. You begin to chase attention. Not truth. The Stoic doesn't reject success. He simply refuses to be owned by it. He does the work because it's right, not because someone is watching. Detach from the need to be admired. Detach from the craving to prove. Remember, ego blinds you. It makes you think you're progressing while secretly chaining you to vanity. Let your victories be silent. Let your growth be unseen. The man who no longer feeds his ego becomes unshakable. because no amount of flattery or insult can disturb his focus. He simply continues the mission. Most people cling to noise, company, and distractions because they cannot stand the sound of their own thoughts. But solitude is not loneliness, it's training. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." The Stoics used solitude as a weapon, alone. They confronted their weaknesses, refined their values, and forged inner armor that no crowd could give. You must learn to do the same. Sit in silence without music, without screens, without escape. Let the boredom strip away your illusions. Because when you can be at peace alone, you become immune to manipulation. You stop chasing people who drain you and stop fearing the absence of noise. Solitude is the gym of the mind, uncomfortable at first. But once mastered, it builds absolute independence. The crowd gives comfort, solitude gives power. Learn to walk alone without feeling lonely. That's where true strength begins. You've been taught that more is better, more money, more comfort, more recognition. Yet every time you get what you want, the satisfaction fades and you start chasing the next thing. That's not progress, that's addiction. Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." The Stoic understands that peace doesn't come from addition, but subtraction. Simplify your life. Cut what clutters your space and poisons your focus. Stop buying to feel worthy. Stop chasing what sparkles but doesn't serve. You don't need more, you need less but better. The less you own, the lighter you move. Minimalism isn't aesthetic, it's armor. Each unnecessary desire is a string pulling your mind in 1,000 directions. When you sever those strings, you discover how powerful stillness feels. Freedom is not having everything. Freedom is needing almost nothing. That is wealth no fortune can match. Every time you react instantly, you hand your power to whatever triggered you. Someone insults you, and you explode. A delay happens, and you panic. That's not strength, that's slavery. The Stoics called this the disease of the soul, the inability to pause before response. Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your reaction is the space where your freedom lives. Between stimulus and response stands choice, and the choice defines the man. Practice the pause. When emotion rises, breathe once before acting. Ask, is this worth my peace? Will this matter in a day, a month, a year? Emotional control isn't about feeling less. It's about choosing wisely where to place your energy. The man who controls his reactions commands his destiny. The one who doesn't is a puppet of every circumstance. Master your response, and no external chaos will ever master you. Modern culture glorifies instant results. 30 days to success, quick fixes, fast growth. But the Stoics knew that mastery is not a sprint. It's a lifetime of discipline. Marcus Aurelius didn't become wise in a week, nor did Seneca build calm in a month. Transformation is the slow carving of the soul. Every day you train your mind, strengthen your habits, confront your fears, and some days you'll fail. That's fine. The Stoic does not quit because progress is slow. He continues because truth is eternal. Stop looking for shortcuts. Stop chasing motivation. Motivation fades, structure stays. Build small systems that make growth inevitable. Consistency, not speed, is the true sign of mastery. You don't need to feel ready. You need to stay committed. Every quiet repetition builds the man you are becoming. So forget overnight success. Seek timeless strength, brick by brick, habit by habit. You will rise, unshaken. Be unhurried, unstoppable. Everything you cling to, grudges, control, possessions, pride, is weight. And a heavy soul cannot rise. The Stoics taught that freedom is not found in gaining, but in releasing. Marcus Aurelius wrote, choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. To let go is not to lose. It's to return to your natural strength. Each attachment is a rope around your spirit, pulling you downward. Cut them one by one. The need to impress, the fear of being misunderstood, the obsession with what could have been. You don't need to add more to become powerful. You need to remove what makes you weak. The final Stoic lesson is this: liberation is subtraction. When you stop holding on to what's gone, what's fake, or what's heavy, you finally stand in your truth, light, disciplined, free. Now walk forward. Don't explain. Don't announce. Just evolve. The world will see the difference without a word. In the end, every one of these lessons points to the same truth. Your freedom begins within. You are not trapped by the world. You are trapped by what you refuse to let go of. The moment you choose discipline over distraction, courage over comfort, and wisdom over noise, your entire life begins to shift. Don't just listen to these words, live them. Cut one chain today, just one, and feel the weight lift off your spirit. That small act of courage is how transformation begins. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these lessons hit you the hardest? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Your reflection might be the spark that helps someone else wake up too. If this message spoke to you, take a quiet moment to like this video, subscribe to Stoic Power Lab, and share it with someone who's ready to grow in silence and strength. Thank you for walking this path with me. Stay disciplined, stay grounded, and remember, freedom is not found, it's forged.